Hello, Midwestern Movie Reviewer here with another movie review. I was recently given a movie challenge. Very exciting. Movie review challenge from Darkroom Reviewer. So I said, yes, I take your challenge. The challenge was, what were your top 9 favorite movies of 1994? I was like, oh Lord, 1994? I'm going to have to do some Googling and see what was out back in 1994. Some great movies, guys. Some really, really good ones. It was a great year for movies for Jim Carrey. He came out with 3 amazing comedies that year. 2 of them are on this list. One of them I wasn't that crazy about, so I'll go ahead and mention it first. He was in The Mask. It was a little bit too over the top for me, and I didn't really love that green face, but kudos to him to do that. But my number 9 movie on that list was of his. It was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. He was so funny in that. There were so many cameos by really great actors. And then all the interactions with the animals was funny and cute. Of course, he always is over the top and just way too enthusiastic. But I love it. I think he's hilarious. The one thing that makes me put it so far down is that the ending has not held up in the past, what is that, 30 years? 20? Okay, I'm going to have to tell you guys, I'm not great at math. So 6, carry the 1, 30 years. Okay, 30 years. It hasn't held up well. So because that ending is not real great politically, socially, I have to put it down on the list. But still very funny. My number 8 movie is by him as well. It is Dumb and Dumber. Him and this other guy are taking a road trip in a van shaped like a shaggy dog, and just all the crazy things that happen on that. So much physical comedy, so much just insane pranks. They play all kinds of pranks on each other. One prank involved putting, what do you call it, laxatives in somebody's drink. Oh my goodness, so funny. So that is my number 8 movie. Check that out if you've never seen it. My number 7 movie. My number 7 movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. He is a spy, and his wife doesn't know he's a spy. And it's funny. It's full of action. The interaction between him and her they have great chemistry. It's really fun. So if you have not seen True Lies, that's a great movie to check out. My number 6 movie is just kind of a throw in there. I'm going to add an extra one because I like this one, but it's actually not my top within my top 9. Okay, if you like movies that are so stupid and terrible and weird that you laugh, but you probably aren't supposed to be laughing in those places, although this is a comedy, you got to see Clifford. Clifford is a movie about Martin Short playing a little like 9 or 10-year-old bratty boy. And just, they try to bring some heart into it. And it's just so weird with a grown man playing that he's a child. So if you get a chance, check out Clifford. But that's not my actual number 6. My actual number 6, Interview with the Vampire. That movie stars some amazing, huge stars. Brad Pitt, for one. You got Tom Cruise as another vampire. I don't remember his name. And then the interviewer is Christian Slater. There's another little girl played by Kirsten Dunst, who's a really good star. So it's creepy. It almost seems like maybe Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt are in love, but they don't show them making out. But just seeing how gorgeous they both are, you're like, will this happen? Are they gonna make out? Beautiful. They look so beautiful, and they've got these like really cool pale contact lenses. Their skin looks kind of pasty. Vampires, But man, you got to see that movie. It's so good. Okay, Interview with the Vampire. That's my number 6 for real. My number 5 movie is Disclosure. Now, this was at a time when, usually if it was like a sexual harassment thing, it was a man after a woman. Then this, Michael Douglas is being sexually harassed by his boss, played by Demi Moore. You feel sorry for Michael Douglas, and Demi Moore is so mean. It's really good. And it was weird back then because people were like, what? A woman harassing a man? But because of that power dynamic, and nowadays we know, anybody can sexually harass anyone. But back then, this was like a new thing. So very, you know, ahead of its time. Disclosure. My number 4 movie is Pulp Fiction. This is a Quentin Tarantino directed movie about like gangsters, and it's very stylized and so cool, and like the dialogue was unusual. It's a very fun, it's violent, you feel the fear and intimidation in this movie. It's got so many things going for it. It's got John Travolta. It's got Uma Thurman. It has Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and just some of the best dialogue in a gangsterish type movie that has been written. So definitely, if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, you have to. My number 3 movie is The Crow. This one starred Brendan Lee, and he was Bruce Lee's son. So people said that that family was cursed, almost like a Kennedy. And so during the filming of The Crow, he was fatally wounded and killed. So I guess there was just a few scenes that they had to, use someone else for, but he did the majority of that film. So it's creepy. And since you went in and that happened, when you watch this, it has a heavy feel to it. It's very macabre. I think it's based on a comic book. So it has a lot of really cool things about it, and sad and heavy. So it's an awesome movie. And of course, we know they remade it. So it's coming out this year as a remake. It's got Bill Skarsgård playing the lead character, and I'm really interested to see it. It looks slightly different, but basically it's the same story. I can't wait to see it. So if you want to see the one it's based on, The Crow from 1994. My number 2 movie. This one was one of the first movies when Disney started coming out with a lot of really great feature films, original stories. Around that time they were doing like The Little Mermaid and what was it, Finding Nemo, and some of these other ones. Well, this one was The Lion King. Beautifully done. The soundtrack is amazing, and just the story. It's like Bambi, but in the Sahara Desert and slightly jungles instead of the forest. Great voices. Um, Mufasa was James Earl Jones. Darth Vader. Who can have a better voice for a king lion than James Earl Jones? And then you've got Scar was played by Jeremy Irons. I love his English accent. Okay, that was a terrible imitation, but he was amazing as Scar. Love his little snooty way he acted. And then you had the cute little son played by Matthew Broderick. He did great with that voice. There are so many iconic voices in that, and even the singing. Who doesn't go around saying Hakuna Matata at some point in their lives? It just means no worries, and we all go around, hey. And then my all-time favorite from 1994 is Forrest Gump. Once again, so many iconic quotes came from that movie. Starred Tom Hanks as that main character, and then there's so many other great actors and actresses in that movie. You got your life is like a box of chocolates. My mama always said that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And then Run, Forrest, Run, and something about Jenny. Love that movie. And then him and his relationship with Bubba. It's just so beautiful. And Lieutenant Dan. There's so many great characters in that movie. The story, it hits so many major life milestones back in, like, I think like the 60s and 70s, and the way that they stuck him in those different scenes, even though nowadays they've got better CGI than they did in 1994, it still is great, and it's such a fun and touching story. So yeah, that's my number one. I think it even won maybe picture of the year that year. It won Oscars. So very well done. So that is my top 9 movies, and I am passing forward this challenge. I'm challenging Cody Leach, Stoned Gremlin Productions, Raven OS Fan 89, John Franklin Movie Reviewer, Sydney Volp, and last but not least, Adam Does Movies. So you guys, what are your top 9 movies of 1994? Challenge is being presented. Midwestern Movie Reviewer out.